Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JRG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm gonna go over 5 key concepts that episode 4's of What If, with the Evil Strange episode introduced that you have to remember because I'm sure they're gonna come back in Marvel movies and for the rest of the show. So you have to remember those 5 key concepts that I'm going to point out in this video that got introduced in this episode, and some of them were very quietly introduced, and some of them are like big concepts that the episode uses as their story. But all these 5 key concepts you have to remember for the future of the MCU, as well as this episode introduces to a lot of different things, and I have a lot of different theories about things that happen in this episode that might affect the rest of What If, as well as Spider-Man No Way Home, and especially Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So definitely watch the whole video so you get all the theories, the 5 key concepts, and everything, and all that good stuff that gets you informed. But first, make sure to leave a like. I would very much appreciate it, and it helps out the video a lot. So please leave a like if you end up enjoying this video. As well as subscribe to get more videos like this. I'm covering What If, just like this video. I'm covering Shang-Chi. I just released my video on top 10 scenes or top 10 moments of Shang-Chi. And I'm going to release a whole other video, just a spoiler talk or spoiler review. And I released a video covering its box office. So make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of that coverage. And I'll be covering the rest of What If and so on and so on. So definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that content. As well as comment down below what you thought of this episode. I thought it was the best episode so far, but I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on What If episode 4. Okay, now let's get started. Well, like I said in the intro, we got introduced to 5 key concepts that seem really important and will for sure play a big part in the future of the MCU. What are these 5 big concepts that I'm talking about, and how will they fit the MCU? Well, let's start with the first concept. And the first concept is a fixed event in the timeline that cannot be changed without destroying the universe. And we saw this in the episode with Christine whenever Doctor Strange is trying to save Christine. And because he tries to save Christine, the whole universe gets destroyed. So that's a great example of a fixed event that can't be changed without destroying the universe. And they definitely used it very well in this episode. So what is my theory with this fixed event concept that they introduced in this episode, which is definitely going to be important? I think it's a huge piece in the rest of the multiverse movies. So my theory with this concept that being introduced is that maybe Wanda giving up her kid is a fixed point in the timeline, and since she's definitely going to try to save them and get them back, which I think she will end up doing, or she will get close to doing, this is going to start destroying the universe, since that's not supposed to happen. This is a fixed event. I also think that evil Doctor Strange, the one that we saw in this episode, will team up with Wanda in Multiverse of Madness to help her get her children back, as he can relate heavily to her, as seen by this episode, episode 4, where he tries to bring Christine back because he obviously loves Christine, and he tried to bring Christine back, and maybe he might try to help Wanda bring her kids back, learning from his past mistakes to try to not destroy the universe this time. Of course, I don't think that's going to end up working out. I think this might start breaking the universe, but this just goes to show you that this concept is definitely very big and very important, and I think that might be the way that they end up using it in the movies as a Multiverse of Madness. Probably, most of the chances are that it's going to be a Multiverse of Madness. Not entirely sure, but I think it's a very big concept that they introduced in this episode, and I don't think they would have not introduced it if it wasn't going to be used for future movies. The second huge concept is splitting a character so they can take different decisions, meaning there can be 2 versions of a character in the same universe, leading to 2 different universes in the same universe. Obviously, causing it to break, as we again saw in this episode with Doctor Strange getting broken into 2 to take the decision of not saving Christine, and this led to having 2 different Doctor Stranges in the same universe, and then this eventually led to 2 universes in the same universe, causing it to break. So we got introduced to this concept, and this concept seems huge, like being able to split 2 different, a same character into 2 different versions of themselves to take different decisions, causing 2 different universes in the same universe, just sounds insane, and it sounds so important and so huge, which leads me to think one thing: there will be 2 Doctor Stranges in Multiverse of Madness. I definitely believe that. Why? Well, just like in this episode, the Asian one maybe splits him in 2, or maybe even Mordo, as we last saw him learning saw him learning dark magic, which is the magic that the Asian one said that she used to split Doctor Strange into 2 different Doctor Stranges in this episode. So I could definitely see Mordo or the Asian one splitting Doctor Strange in 2. Why would they split him into? To make different decisions. They might want to make a different decision. Agent One might and probably will use it for good if it doesn't end up being Agent One. But I think Mordo was probably more likely, and I think Mordo might split him into two to make a different bad decision, which is going to be key. I think that might give Mordo an advantage against Doctor Strange in Doctor Strange 2. I think maybe one decision that they split him on, maybe the Agent One, or maybe even Wong, is that to now help Peter on that spell that he's doing, obviously in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, where he's trying to do that spell to not to stop everybody from knowing Peter's identity as Spider-Man. So it might be that, but I don't think it's that. I think it's going to be a new decision that gets formed in Multiverse of Madness, and they split him on that. It can either be used for good or bad, but I definitely think that it's going to be two different Doctor Stranges that make different decisions, because it just seems like a huge concept, and this is Multiverse of Madness, and having two different universes in the same universe is madness. That's crazy, and especially having two different versions of a character, which I definitely think that we're going to have in this movie, maybe even three, maybe even four. I think we're just gonna have a bunch of different versions of the characters that we know and love in that movie. So I definitely think that Doctor Strange is going to be one of them, and I don't think he's going to be because he went to a different universe to search for him. No, I definitely think that it's going to be that maybe someone split him to make different decisions, like in this episode he got split. But like I said, I'm not entirely sure why he would get split, since we don't know that much about Multiverse of Madness. We know very little, and we have seen the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, which is why I brought up the point of Spider-Man No Way Home, but we've barely seen anything from Multiverse of Madness, and this is just theories floating around in my head. Like, these are just theories. So I think that don't take this like super seriously, but I definitely think that we did see Doctor Strange act a little different in the No Way Home trailer, and even fighting Peter. So this could be one side of Doctor Strange, so like a different version of Doctor Strange, while there's another one in the same universe. Who knows? But I definitely think Doctor Strange will get split, like I said. Or at least a character will get split. Maybe it's not Doctor Strange, but maybe it could even be a different character to make a different decision. I mean, I could even see Wanda getting split into two versions of herself in this movie, to take different decisions, to one of them maybe accept that maybe she can't live with her children, and one of them going full on evil, and then a Wanda versus Wanda, maybe something like that. I could definitely see that. Who knows? But that would be pretty cool in my opinion. But definitely keep in mind that now you can split characters from the same universe. The third thing is the magic creatures that we saw in this episode that Doctor Strange was consuming and that he needed to get more power. So he needed those creatures' powers to get more power himself. And I definitely think these magic creatures will come back for Doctor Strange 2. Remember that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness will have a lot of horror movie elements. And I think these magic creatures will definitely play a big part in those horror elements, as they truly do have the horror element type of thing and can be really scary and lend themselves a lot to those horror elements. And I definitely think they could pose a threat in the Multiverse of Madness. We also heard a bunch of rumors going around earlier this year that a rumor villain for Multiverse of Madness is Shuma Gorath, who looks a lot, and I mean a lot, like this creature that has shown up in episode 1 of What If and episode 2 of What If, as you can see in these images. So I definitely think that these magic creatures will play a villainous role in the Multiverse of Madness. Or maybe even the evil Doctor Strange from this episode uses these creatures to set them free in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Or maybe it's just like the tentacles of Shuma Gorath that he uses, which or maybe that's what caused the leak. But I think these creatures definitely lend themselves to that. Especially like that fire creature with the wings and the skull, and then that little guardian thing that you put in front of your guardian that had magic. You see, those type of creatures definitely lend themselves a lot to horror elements, and I definitely think that they will lend themselves in that movie, and they definitely will play a part into being a horror movie for Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. The fourth big thing that we got introduced to in this episode, or the fourth big concept that we got introduced to, is the absorption powers that we saw Doctor Strange display in this episode, with the magic creatures to get more powerful, as well as he also absorbed a version of himself to get him full power. These absorption powers are a new and a very powerful power we see from Doctor Strange that I think that would definitely come back in the movies, especially if he needs to upgrade faster to get more powerful in the movie. Then I think he might absorb a bunch of these creatures to end up getting more powerful for the movie. Maybe to 1v1 Wanda, since obviously we saw that she might be more powerful than Doctor Strange. Maybe to do that, maybe to 1v1 whoever the villain does end up being from that movie. But definitely keep in mind these absorption powers. Also, as I just mentioned, you can also use these absorption powers to get rid of the other to one of you in the same universe. Whenever you get split, you get kind of cut in half, and you can use absorption powers to absorb yourself to get the full version of yourself and destroy the other version of yourself. So I definitely think that this might end up getting used as well. Maybe good Doctor Strange has to fight an evil Doctor Strange, and then good Doctor Strange ends up absorbing evil Doctor Strange. So now there's no more evil Doctor Strange, but now Doctor Strange has way more power himself. I could definitely see that happening, and I could definitely see getting flipped and evil Doctor Strange beating good Doctor Strange, like in this episode, and he gets more powerful. Who knows? Something like that I definitely think will come to play. Or maybe even Mordo ends up using these absorption powers to end up getting more power. As in the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange, he kind of absorbed the magic from one of the guys from that movie. So maybe, maybe not, but I definitely think these absorption powers will come back in the future, especially since it's a super fast way to power up your character really quickly. I definitely think that that's going to be the main use of it. And the fifth huge thing is that the characters can actually notice the Watcher, just like Doctor Strange noticed the Watcher and even talk to him, which would definitely come back. How? Well, the fact that the Watcher didn't help Doctor Strange would definitely make Strange hate him. And I mean really, really hate him. Since the whole universe died because the Watcher didn't want to help him. And Christine as well. I think Doctor Strange, and I mean by Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange, will figure out other stories the Watcher has been seeing. And will collect other characters from those stories to take revenge on the Watcher. And for this theory, I actually have proof from the trailer, as in this image, you can see Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange, talking to Captain Carter. So clearly he does survive, and I think that he will travel through different universes that the Watcher has seen and collect characters from there to maybe help him team up against the Watcher. I don't know what his end goal is going to be, but he's definitely talking to Captain Carter here. And then we also see images where you see Captain Carter, Star-Lord T'Challa, Gamora Thanos, Thor without a beard and everything, teamed up together in a circle. So you could know that they're going to end up colliding at some point. And I definitely think that evil Doctor Strange is the key for this. And I definitely think he's going to do it to get revenge on the Watcher. Or he's might not tell him that it's for revenge on the Watcher, but eventually his end goal will be to get revenge on the Watcher. As you know, it is the Watcher's fault that his whole universe died. And obviously that's not good. Well, that will be it for this video. Tell me what you thought about these 5 key concepts and all these theories that I threw around in this video. I'm definitely very curious to hear your thoughts down below. Tell me like which theories you believe in. Tell me which theories sound completely impossible and like no, they're probably fake. And tell me if you think that these 5 key concepts are actually as big as I see them, because I definitely feel like these key concepts are like huge and I got introduced in this episode. So definitely tell me down below if you think the same thing, and which concept you think is going to truly translate to the movies, is truly going to be used in the movies. I'm definitely curious to hear all those different thoughts and opinions, so definitely tell me that all down below. As well as make sure to like the video, it would be very helpful. It took a lot of time to get this list together and everything, and also you ended up enjoying the video, then please just like the video. Thank you very much if you did. As well, subscribe for more content like this. Like I said, I'm covering Shang-Chi, covering What If, covering box office, covering all type of stuff. So definitely make sure to subscribe. You want to keep keep seeing content on Marvel and What If and all type of stuff. Subscribe for all that good stuff. You'll definitely get a lot of content from my channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And this is JFG Entertainment out.